So, um, we're going to start with early spring, and I'm just going to credit this. This is the from my learnings from Michael Tierra. Um, he has a book called, well, he has many books, but one of my go-tos is what I call OB1, which is his orange book, which is Chinese Traditional Herbal Medicine, Volume 1. And he really talks about looking at the yin and yang organs and the elements and what is associated with that, so we can draw our awareness to what's happening in the natural world, as well as well, humans are natural too, believe it or not, as well as what's happening with the clients that we're seeing or ourselves. So early spring, I'm adding early here. This is not part of TCM, traditional Chinese medicine. This is something that you'll see I did a little spinoff bringing in Ayurvedic understanding as well. So the yin and yang organs, liver, gallbladder, are ones that are going to be most activated in the time of spring. And the direction's east. And you might see that in certain indigenous medicine wheels too, of like, oh, spring is the eastern direction. It is the time of the sprouts. It's the time in the human life cycle of the newborn, or even the non-born, the seed, right? This color of this time is green. This flavor is sour, and we'll taste that with the plants. And there's other emotions, which I can speak more to another time. But the herbal recommendations that I have found helpful for that springtime is ones that are going to be helping with the liver, ones that will be helping with the gallbladder. So I just took notes here of like, what does the liver do in terms of just my background with understanding more so Western traditions and Eastern traditions. And it is really part of like storing the blood, but it also can help with the digestive system. So herbs at this time in spring, right, are going to, ideally, maybe we would want to really support the liver that's been really stagnated after a winter, right? And the gallbladder releases the bile that helps us digest things, digest all those fats. So we want to cleanse and support the gallbladder at this time. It's said if we were to help with the liver and gallbladder, then agitation that's really pronounced in spring can be reduced. It can help us not be as affected by that spring, the spring movement, the spring wind. So if you look at herbs that I would recommend for this time of year, this is just like a general thing, right? If I were to look at a person in specifically, I would, make modifications, but spring herbs, right? Dandelion root, and that's definitely out and about. Milk thistle seeds, that is something I would save from the following year. Oregon grape root, that is something that I would harvest from the forest here. And bupleurum is a root too that maybe I would harvest in fall or spring. So the harvest of the spring is going to be more so these new tender shoots. It's going to be these roots, and if there are any sort of buds or stored aspect or parts of the plants from the following fall, that could be something that would be really great for specifically the liver and gallbladder, but the body at this time. So aromatics, these would all be ones that would just be coming up in the springtime, or things that you just have in the kitchen, because springtime, the food, the abundance, the plants are not necessarily fully ripe or growing, depending on where you're at in the world or the United States. Okay, and then astringent. So at this point in spring, I probably wouldn't see any of these other than nettles. So that would be something that I would use to help with that cleansing. Diet, if you all, I think if you're Herb Rally members, you will have access to this PowerPoint because I know this is a lot of words, but you can re-look at this if you're interested, because I didn't take the time to narrow it down, but I will highlight some certain aspects of early spring diet recommendations that I just put out there to the general people at that time is quickening how you cook your food, right? So that spring can either be really cool still or still warm. So just steaming vegetables is going to be really, really great. So reducing all those fats that maybe you would eat in the winter, and then starting to eat more of the greens, those fresh greens that are just starting to come up. I know maybe this is hard to think of because we're in summer right now, but yeah, that springtime is all about that cleansing, sour, vibrant, astringent, and bitter way of cleansing the digestive system to help move stagnation. So here's some other more astringent, bitter, pungent taste and foods associated with that. And also, some grains that I would recommend. But the idea here with early spring is to reduce the amount of fats and congestion and stagnation that really can affect liver, gallbladder.